Hello everyone, welcome to Skill Array. So today's topic is typecasting. So what is typecasting? Typecasting means changing the data type of a value from one type to another type. So in this example, from integer to double, for example, or from double to integer. So before going into this topic deeply, first we need to know the data types and their sizes. Let us consider the two common data types, integer and double. Integer stores whole numbers like 5, 20, 100 and so on. So it typically takes 4 bytes of memory. Whereas double, it stores decimal numbers too. So like for example 3.14, 9.876 and so on. So it typically uses 8 bytes of memory. So a double is larger because it takes more memory. It can store decimal values and it can represent wide range of numbers. Okay. So there are two types of typecastings. First is implicit and next one is explicit. Implicit means automatically the compiler can convert the type of a variable from one to another, whereas explicit means it should be done by the programmer. In order to understand this easily, let us consider a real-time example. So here I am considering data as sugar candies, okay, and integer as smaller cup and double as the larger cup. Why? Because a small cup represents small data type and a large cup represents large data type. So my case 1 is pouring the sugar candies from smaller cup to the larger cup. So this is my smaller cup and I'm trying to pour all the candies into the larger cup. What happened? If we pour the candies from small cup to larger cup, all the candies will fit and nothing will get spilled over. This is exactly what happens when you try to convert an integer value to double value. So the main characteristics are no data will get lost and it is very safe. So as data is not lost, the compiler can automatically convert integer to double. Okay. And this implicit typecasting is also known as sometimes widening conversion. And the second case is pouring the sugar candies from larger cup to the smaller cup. So now if you pour the candies from larger cup to the smaller cup, what happened? Some candies will get spilled over. This small cup cannot hold everything. Okay. This represents what happens when we try to convert double to integer. So a double will have more information like whole number part and decimal part. But an integer can only store the whole number part. So during this conversion, the decimal part is dropped, some information is lost, and only the whole part will get stored in the integer data type. So as some data is getting lost, it is not safe and compiler will not automatically do this type of conversion. The programmer or the user must do it manually. That's why it is called as explicit typecasting. And it is also called as sometimes narrowing conversion. Okay. So just like this candy is overflowing from small cup to large cup and large cup to small cup. So when we transfer the data from smaller to larger, the compiler automatically completes. But when we try to convert from double to int or from larger data type to smaller data type, explicitly the user should do. Happy because compiler can transfer the data. Sad because it cannot directly convert the double to integer. So these are the characteristics of implicit typecasting. Implicit, no data will get lost, safe and done automatically by the compiler. So whereas the characteristics of explicit are data will be lost, not safe, and it should be done manually. Let us consider an example program illustrating the typecasting types, implicit and explicit typecasting. Okay. So this is our program where I have taken 4 variables. One is of integer, another one is of floating point or double. And the first part illustrate implicit and the second part illustrate explicit. So I will explain what happens here. So implicit typecasting is performed automatically by the compiler, we know, right? So when a value of one data type is assigned to another data type with larger range. So in this example, I am storing the value of A into B. So what is the value of A? It is 10. So 10 will be directly stored in the value of B because the value of A is integer and the value of B is float or double. So now the value of A10 is stored in B. So the value will directly get stored in the value of B. This is called as implicit typecasting. Okay. Now the second part is explicit typecasting. Explicit typecasting occurs when the programmer manually converts a value of one data type into the another data type using this cast operator. So here the syntax is cast operator. So this is usually done when converting from larger data type to smaller data type. Okay. So in this program, my larger data type holds 9.75, whereas the next y value is empty. So now when I'm trying to store the value of 9.75 into y, the decimal part will get truncated and only the whole part will get stored in the x. So here this is my floating point variable x and this is my integer value y. So it is having 9.75 and now I'm trying to store this bigger value into a smaller value. So what happens? The decimal part will get truncated and only the integer part will get stored in the integer data type y. So the cast operator syntax is this one, brackets, and that we need to specify the type of the variable that is to be converted. So here the x is of type float by default. So now I am explicitly asking the compiler to convert this to integer data type. So this is the syntax for explicit typecasting. Hope you understood. Thank you.